First Things First is sponsored by Gillette, the best a man can get.
Back here, First Things First, former Pro Bowl linebacker Bart Scott joins the show. Hey, Bart.
What they do? They're just lotion, man. They
you
told
brought
me ash in the back.
You brought something in with you today. You brought gifts?
I come bearing gifts, man. Listen, you guys have embraced me as one of your own. I'm like the cousin that you only invite over every once in a while.
You drink up all the liquor.
I bought this for my boy. You got to hide the liquor for me.
Do you want? Am I supposed to unwrap it?
Absolutely. Just pull it. Just slide it out right here. This is for you, man. You've been out here spitting a lot of hot fire, man. But I don't want you to run out of lead. Go ahead and put that right there. Let's turn it that way. Go ahead and read that shit.
Down. Oh, it says on there, write that down.
That's awesome.
You had this made?
I don't want you to run out of lead, man, because you got a lot of stuff to learn. Put that right here. Keep this close. Keep this close. Keep that close.
My favorite guest of all time.
Keep that close.
It really writes. This is a real pencil.
Yeah, we're trying to teach you something.
All right, I got you.
But look,
let's go ahead and
Took me out in the process.
I won't hit you.
Don't pay attention, Jay-Z.
Right,
Numbers
here
do
we
lie
go.
sometimes.
2 weeks left in the NFL's
your eye out.
regular season. And for some, a chance to make a final playoff push. The Dallas Cowboys have already made the push, now looking to clinch a win over Tampa Bay, and they win the NFC East. Cowboys host the Bucs on Sunday. This team is 6-1 at home this season, while just 2-5 on the road. Zeke talked about the team's approach to Sunday's game.
Approaching this game like we've approached, the past six, back against the wall is a must-win for us. We got to do whatever we can to go out there and secure that NFC East division title. And we just got to know that nothing's gonna be given to us. We got to go out there and take everything. So we just got to have that mindset going into this Sunday, so we can come out there winning.
All right, Bart, which Cowboys team do you expect to see on Sunday? Is it going to be the team that got shut out by the Colts, or the team that we saw the 5 weeks prior on that win streak?
I think somewhere in the middle, right? Because I think this defense was exposed a little bit when they couldn't get to the passer. I think they ran into the number one offensive line in the game, and he was clean. Yeah. I mean, you got to tip your hats to what they're doing over there in Indianapolis. I called that game. I knew it was going to be a blowout, because when you can't get that, your identity is, getting to the passer and playing great defense, rushing the ball. Zeke didn't get enough carries last week. I think they go in and the offense runs again through Zeke, but they have to be careful, because this Tampa Bay offense is top 10 and is one of the most explosive offenses in the game. And if they get a lead, then do you stay true to who you are? I heard you guys talking about Seattle, and if they get behind, they're going to stay true to their identity. They're going to run the ball, let the offense flow that way. I think Tampa Bay, is a team that can put up points with anybody, and if they're on, and they have nothing to play for. I always like to watch teams play or players play after they get snubbed. And Mike Evans, over 1,300 yards receiving, he's going to be looking to prove a point against a very good opponent.
So you mentioned that the Tampa offense can score with anyone. 100% true, which is the reason they only have 5 wins, is the defense is turning. The opposing running backs against this defense have 1,800 yards at 5 yards per carry. Opposing quarterbacks against this defense are completing 72% of their balls, 111 rating. So you're turning everyone on the opposing offense into all-pro caliber players, which is why, whatever the margin of this game is, I want to see if the Cowboys can open it up in the passing game.
Right.
If you can't have a few explosive plays in the passing game against the Tampa defense, the hell chance do you have against Chicago or Seattle or any of the defenses in Minnesota that you could face in the first round of the NFC playoffs? So that to me is what's most telling. The Cowboys can wrap up the division this week. They have every reason to they have everything to play for, I should say, while Tampa has little to play for. And when they did have something to play for, they still couldn't stop people. So how explosive can the offense be after being shut out last week against Indy?
Well, for me, they should be looking to bounce back, understanding that it's important to be playing your best football in December, understanding that you need to carry that momentum. But it's going to be on Dak, and he's going to have to call the game from the line of scrimmage, because Tampa's going to try and load up and take something away. And he's going to have to recognize if that 8th man is in the box, if their gap sound eating up all the gaps so Ezekiel doesn't have lanes to run, he's going to have to audible and call the plays from the line of scrimmage. I don't know if he's capable of doing that. I don't know if he's a guy that can recognize, okay, the safety's inverting on the backside. Let's check Omaha, which basically just means opposite away from the man that we can't buy. We can't block the free overhang guy. They're going to have to put the game in his hands and allow him to be a quarterback, an upper echelon quarterback. I don't know if he's ready to do that.
Well, I just believe they have to throw the ball to the outside. Going into a game like this, I'm concerned about Tampa Bay's explosiveness from an offensive standpoint, their big plays, their wide receivers. And also, I'm concerned if I'm Dallas, if I get behind in this game, like Indianapolis. Dallas drove down the field, got a field goal block. Drove down the field again. Got stopped on fourth down. Now, if those things, if you have some struggle early in the game, and then, man, McCoy, Jason Pierre-Paul, man, they can wreck your Sunday afternoon. So if Dallas, if they get behind, which they have been behind before, do they lose their patience? Do they put too much pressure on Dak? For me, I'm coming out with play action, and I'm feeding Amari Cooper the ball. All right? I don't care if he's not demanding the ball. I'm feeding him the ball because they are a different offense when they get him the ball and get it to him early.
The other thing, and we've talked about this all week, was their energy level. And while it seems like an intangible, for this Cowboys team, it seems like a big part of their game. The more hype they are, the more importance they place on a game, the better they come out, the faster they come out, and the better they play.
And I think that's not just for the Cowboys. I think that's almost league-wide. But what's specific to the Cowboys, they're not the only team like this, but they're one of the teams like this. They are a different team at home. Like, they haven't played a game yet at home this year where you felt like their energy was a problem. Now, they're not undefeated at home, but there's
only a few places that have that type of atmosphere like Dallas. So I could understand why a Dallas team would be a little bit different. But one thing that Jenna and I talked about is it's not only playing at home, it's that this team is so young. Do they have the football maturity to be consistent week in? Yeah, we understand NFL. A team is not going to come out with the same type of energy. But is that too, oh, it's late in the season and they're a little tired? Or is it immaturity as a young football team, Bart?
Well, and they have to recognize what type of opponent they're dealing with. You know, they can deal with an opponent that has the U-Haul half-pack that's ready to go in Tampa Bay, or they can have that team that's going to be inspired and say, you know what, I'm going to wreck their season and come out and play inspired. And if you have to recognize which one you got, because if you have that team that's willing to do anything to win, then now your antennas have to be up for gadgets. You know, you got to be able to communicate, trick plays, you know, fake punts. Some teams, the only thing they have to hang their hat on is the fact that they can wreck somebody else's season and send somebody else home as well. And
you mentioned Mike Evans being snubbed from the Pro Bowl, and a guy you mentioned, though, who's going to have even extra motivation this week is Jason Pierre-Paul. Jason Pierre-Paul, who has, I think, 13.5 sacks this year. He's having a great year in obscurity down in Tampa. He used to be in this division. You know what I mean? The team that he I would imagine, thought he was going to finish his career with, and the Giants decided they were bringing everybody back on defense except for him. He now gets to play Dallas, won't get to play Dallas again.
Werner.
Won't get to play Dallas again for the next few years. And he has a chance. He knows those offensive linemen's tendencies, and that offensive line has not been what it's been made out to be this season.
All right, Bart, stick around. Got to take a break. Coming up, what can the Steelers do to have a shot in New Orleans?
That's funny, man.
We'll write a bunch of stuff down in the commercial break. First things first.
Man, I'm keeping that.
I might take this to my next autograph session. Charge people more.
You're doing the real autograph with
H-O-F.
That's well done.
Holler at a homie if you see him in the street.
So